بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. Dear brothers and sisters of Islam, this is the fifth part to the series where we were looking at the formatting of Ek So Ek Madani Pool, 101 um, Pearls of Wisdom. Um, and we were looking at some of the issues with the formatting, and the reason for recording all this was so that you can understand exactly what our vision is, and also learn how to actually use Word in doing a real project. As you can see on the screen, there is a you can see the bibliography of this Risala, 101 Madani Pools. However, if you scroll down and knowing the size of the Risala, which is only about 30 pages, the list of these references is pretty long. So right out of the bat, one can understand that there is something wrong, and the list is way larger than the actual citations and references in the book. And some of these names are not even going to ring a bell because you wouldn't see them in this book. Now, the reason why this is this way is because if you go to references here, and if you go to manage sources, the way to upload the XML list that we saw earlier in the Introduction to the Translation Toolkit series, you would go to the browse, and then you would click browse, and then you would go to that directory and load XML, load that bibliographical file, the file that has all the entries. So it loads all the entries here, and then you select which ones you want to copy and include in this document. So normally what you would do is you would at first select all of them, because you don't know which ones are actually used in the book. And once you're done, what you would do is you would go back to this list, and you notice this black dot, this black check mark. It says here right at the bottom, it's cited source. So if you scroll down the list, you'll see all these check marks that show you which of these bibliographical references, these books, you've actually cited in the book. The rest of these are not supposed to be in this list. So once we're done with all the citations and the references, what we would actually do is we would select these. And right now I am hitting the shift key and the arrow down key to select multiple at the same time, and then I would click delete. The same thing, I would do that thing with the whole list except the entries that are actually used in the book. Make sure you don't accidentally delete those, because you do not want to delete those references. So keep going and keep deleting them. Sallu ala al-Habib, read durood on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam while I delete all these entries from here that are not supposed to be in here. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Okay, so now we have all the references that have been used in this book, and we close this. And what we'll do is we'll actually update the citations. Let's wait for our document to finish its job, and it's done. So now, my dear brothers and sisters, you see that we have a very short list of the bibliography items, the books, and these are the ones that are actually used in the book. Everything else is gone. So this is how you would actually create the bibliography at the end. But before we actually finish this, let me actually show you how you would actually do this from the beginning. Okay, so I would go to references, and then I would go to bibliography. I will click that, and then it's going to give me a bunch of options of which one to enter. So I'll click insert bibliography, and voila, it's there, the bibliography there, except the heading bibliography. So what I will do is I'll type bibliography right here, and what we normally do is we choose the chapter heading for the bibliography heading. So I'm going to click my styles here and then select heading 1, which is the chapter heading, and voila, we have our bibliography in this book. Now notice that it actually displayed the fonts that we want, and this is the Nayala font with font size 11, and that's because we've set the default fonts for the bibliography in Word, and the template that we used. You saw the introduction to the template in the Introduction to Translation Toolkit. You've already seen that, and in other videos you've probably seen the templates of Word in more detail. So that's all we have for you today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to correctly identify the needs of our majlis, and then recognize them and use them according to the standards set by Jazakallahu khairah.